capitalism was like incredibly fueled by the industrial
Technology.
revolution
Yeah.
and technology and shit. Like that fucking just put fuel to the fire, and then everything just fucking blew up from that. Railroads too. I believe railroads and oils created like the first like real fucking solid millionaires in America.
It's kind of a new system.
Kind of,
Yeah.
but like a lot of people aren't in poverty. Look
Yeah.
around. A lot of people aren't dying in the street,
Yeah.
even in the worst places in America.
True. 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 Definitely gonna be a little different and progress into some things I have not seen in the future. I think with more technology bubbling up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Say that last part. Sorry.
It's gonna progress as more technology progresses into a stage that hasn't been seen before.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm afraid that with
The
this
equity
next
gap
wave of like
as well.
people, a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of people. I was reading something that like something like 52% of people thought capitalism was good before the pandemic, or millennials thought capitalism was good, and now it's like 46%.
Yeah. A big. I was watching C-SPAN one time, and it was like it was kind of like about like trust in government, right? And they had um, kind of some like they had some like old general, um, and I forget what other people's like labels were, but it was like an old army dude, um, and they were talking about people's like a citizen's role in like a society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, I think this one man was saying that in order to really have a country that I would say like fires on all cylinders, I guess, for whatever that means, kind of bolstering the country's safety in multiple areas. He said the citizens have to buy in to the system, um, and like trust the system and kind of have
Yeah,
that sense of nationalism together. Um,
that's
and
100%
they have to do
correct.
that voluntarily, right? Was his big thing. Because if you kind of like force that, it works with a voluntary like this is the boat we're in, and then um, that was his big thing. That was interesting to hear. I'll try to like look it up because it was pretty poignant.
Kind of seems
Um,
like if you want socialism, you would have to have like extreme amounts of patriotism, right? So, like, you have to be like, I trust the government so much, I want them to have complete control of my life. But it seems like people that hate capitalism also hate America.
um, yeah, I think maybe if most people are thinking of like socialism, they're thinking of like a general well-being of citizens being well off, right? I think that's probably in the forefront of people liking that idea rather than kind of individualistic. im- Uh, uh, starts with an E.
Damn, I wish they would just say.
Fuckers.
I wish they would just say, let's have more welfare programs instead of saying, let's tear down the capitalist society and erect socialism in its place. Like,
There's probably different levels of people who are thinking different things as well, obviously. Um, but yeah, to have a well-working society, you kind of have to be voluntarily down with that society.
yeah, I think a lot of people are. A lot of people seem to get along for the most part, treat their communities with respect for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a huge thing in human psychology. The reason why we're so fucking
Sexy.
good at surviving in this huge number is because we can cooperate with one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we were orangutans, we just rip each other's fucking nuts off, and
Yeah.
then we wouldn't be able to build rockets and shit. And
We
make
only really do that through media, so it's not very harmful besides kind of psychologically sometimes.
yeah, and make fucking money and shit that fucking has no value except to us.
Yeah. But
You
that is,
know,
that's the human resource.
That's the human
It's
resource.
that's like the natural human resource, where you got natural resources of like earth and animals getting wood and shit, and we do the same thing, but we use like kind of a intermediary uh, middle ground for those resources.
Do you think if everything were to start over,
Yeah, yeah.
what economic system would start again? What do you think naturally?
I do think that. Well, it kind of. So I'm thinking. My first lean was I do feel like if you have a bunch of humans together and they're like, all right, we're a society, then a lot of people would be like, well, everybody in the society has to be well off, and so that's kind of the idea that a lot of people are inclined to with the idea of socialism, right?
Yeah,
And um, so I do think that because it's kind of like a tribal thing, like this is the tribe and we're gonna be alive, so everybody has to be okay.
mm-hmm.
And but that's kind of with not as much security, and
Yeah,
like you said, technology kind of rose alongside capitalism, so you have and like in like people colonizing other places, you do that with more resources to certain societies. um
yeah.
so then
And
you have more security, and then it kind of does a little more individualism.
the welfare for all is contradicted by the natural human um fucking behavior, I guess you would say. That I don't want to fucking work more if but Joe Schmo over here isn't working more and he's getting paid the same, you know? No one wants
Sure,
to do that, you know?
sure. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
Well, I
you want to
mean,
help people, but also
some people
you need
might.
to help yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a interesting altruistic versus not altruistic thing. The Whole Foods guy did, obviously has arguments for capitalism. That man still sounded weird to me, man. It's kind of just off-putting. Like a lot of the shit, some I agree with, but it sounded like he was just like a college dude kind of debating it,
I
but
found
a
that
man who's been in business for a long time.
super successful entrepreneurs aren't like normal. They're like the weird kids
Yeah,
that
yeah,
were
yeah.
super passionate and fucking kept going and made it.
Sure.
Like fucking look at the founder of Twitter. His grimy ass, bro. Like
He's a little weird.
he's like if he had made Twitter, he would just look like a bum in SF.
Yeah.
But like he walks around with stinky feet, barefoot into the Apple store, and everyone looks at him like he's royalty. Picks up a couple MacBooks and then dips.
Jobs did walk around college with bare feet as well.
I feel like a lot of people do that because Jobs did it. Like, not you don't have to be Jobs. No one's gonna be Steve Jobs.
Oh,
There's only one.
not having shoes on is kind of a natural thing that has predated Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs was just a fucking dick. He just didn't care what people thought. I was reading his book and everyone was like, "Yo, this guy smells like shit." Like this guy, fuck, we can't even have a meeting with him because he like put his feet on the table and it's just like terrible.